Okay, so good morning. Today is July 24th of 2024, and this is the daily outlook as well as the previous day's price action. Let's go over the price action from yesterday. So yesterday we did draw towards this high into this imbalance that I expected to act as resistance. This one didn't, and that's fine. That's SMT with this high and this high and this high and this high. It did uh, draw over consequent encroachment, which is 50% of this gap here, and reversed, and then we had a gap down. And I was expecting price uh, to draw into this old low, but it was actually this old low that held it. And as you can see here, price did touch 50% of this wick over here. So it makes sense that price is now drawing lower. So so my bias today is that we are drawing lower if price continued to draw lower. If price reversed without sweeping this low, then we might still see some upside. But right now, I'm bearish biased unless unless something happened overnight. There is news today at 9:45 and 10, so I won't be trading until until the 10 o'clock macro, unless there's no structure. If there's no structure, then I'm staying away. And so let's take a look at yesterday's price action real quick. Let's go over the 15. So yesterday, like I said, I wanted to see price create more structure, right? Because when price, actually, let's go with this one. This is much better. Okay, so yeah, here, like I said, I didn't see any structure here. I didn't see anything that I liked as of yet. Price had already swept this low here, and so this is a perfect unicorn setup here. Now I didn't see that. I didn't see that because, again, my dealing range was a bullish dealing range or an inclining dealing range, and I wanted that dealing range to get violated. And on the lower time frame, it did, but I wanted to see something else, something more. So yeah, if you were playing the 0930 Judah swing, then you would have gotten long around here somewhere with a stop here to cover at these highs, because obviously here price did do a zigzag before it eventually swept this high here. So when price got up here, I realized that we were still at relative equal highs, and then price for the 11 o'clock macro immediately sold off, and that's when I started to that's when I started to get interested. At the 10 o'clock macro, I wasn't interested because I didn't like the structure. It wasn't my type of setup. But again, 10 o'clock macro, we got this sweep here into midnight open. This one did not sweep this low, and so that is SMT with the specific times, with the 10 o'clock macro and the 11 o'clock macro. And so I actually should have gotten long on both of these, but I was only able to get in long here. So let's take a look at the 1 minute. I'm not going to show the 5 minute because the 5 minute was too, yeah, it was not as clear for me. But the 1 minute was, because the drawing for me were the highs still, and I saw this SMT along with a 1 hour order block as well as a 1 hour gap. That was enough confluence for me to want to get long, or to give a long opportunity. Yeah, for me to give it a long opportunity here. So this is a turtle soup entry. So what did I do? I started getting long, some up here, one down here, and then finally I took another one here. Why did I take this one? Well, because the previous day we had something similar, and I didn't take it. I think it was this one. Was it this one? Okay, it was one of these. It wasn't necessarily an entry. Oh yeah, it was this one right here. Okay, so this one did have a good entry, and I did take this one. But again, you see how price swept all these lows and immediately started displacing higher, given little to no opportunities to get along. I mean, there are various opportunities here, obviously, but uh, the way price was displaying and how volatile it was um, caused a lot of people not to get in. But I'm assuming. But I went ahead and took that one anyways, and when I saw that sweep, um, let's see here. It is. So when I saw the sweep, I immediately started thinking about this day and how I could have, actually the previous day, this is today, yesterday's price action. Uh, I started thinking about yesterday and how I could have added more. Um, yeah, I could have added more for because I did see price displacing higher. Price was definitely more volatile, and so I jumped in a couple of contracts here, covered some into 75 points. The rest I covered up here. Now the reason I covered up here was because again the previous day price went literally up to the tick and reversed, and I didn't want to get stuck in that. I didn't want to get stuck into a reversal because this is just buy side. That's it. Buy side. Yeah, this is just buy side inefficiency, and eventually it's going to come back down to retest that buy side, and obviously it did going into the afternoon session. And so I covered here about 100 points. So yeah, that made my week. I'm very happy about that. I'm glad I read price, and I didn't take this trade. Now I was long here, but I just went ahead and took it off because it wasn't my type of setup. Um, if I had been bearish biased, then I probably would have taken this short here right around after I saw this intermediate term high on the 1 minute. But again, there was no entry here, maybe a little one here. So I might have marketed in, but obviously since there was no gap here, I wasn't going to take it. I probably wouldn't have taken it anyways, but if I would have been bearish, this would have been something for me to look at. But since I was bullish, I wanted displacement lower. Well, not displacement lower. I wanted price to sweep these lows, and again, it did sweep the intermediate term low for the opening low, um, but we didn't sweep this low. At the same time, like I said, we did have SMT with this one, where this one was least likely. Was not sweeping this low, and so that's SMT confirmed during a macro. Um, and that's where I was able to get long here. Now, there was a second entry here, but obviously if you get in here, then this is not your exit. Your exit is actually down here somewhere if you get stopped out. So I wasn't willing to take that much of a risk because a lot of times what it does is it does sweep a low into another FVG and then it goes higher. So I wasn't willing to look at that, but again, I was happy that I got into these contracts and covered first. Which one was it? Was it this low? It was one of these lows. It was a 5 minute high, so I probably think it was. I'm almost positive it was this one, um, or maybe a 3 minute. But it was just one. One. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, it was this one right here. So it was just this one covered into this one. But yeah, and so into the afternoon session, I figured we were still bullish, right? So I got in right here, covered into some into here, and what happened afterwards? Price swept all these lows right here. And on ES, something similar happened where price drew higher, swept these lows. So I actually I actually jumped in right here, covered into 5 points because by this time it was already 14:30, and I realized that we did have earnings, like I said, notable earnings in the afternoon, which was Google and Tesla. I don't care what they reported; the numbers don't really say anything to me. Just that those are notable earnings, and because of that, price would most likely consolidate going into the um, close, and after the close, actually this happened. Um, and obviously, when we open back up for the 1800 day open, we gapped down. So yeah, today, like I said, I'm bearish because again we did trade into a, a gap from external to internal, and we're still seeking more down here on the lower time frames. So I did add this 4-hour dealing range back up because again yesterday and the previous day price did close below this area. So we'll see if price wants to fill this gap and then draw higher. But I'm standing. I'm keeping to the bearish side today, depending on how price developed overnight. And this gap, this void, it's not actually a gap; it's a void. Will eventually want to fill itself. So whether it fills today or tomorrow, I'm not sure. But again, if we are drawing towards the lows, then my targets are going to be the lows. So let's go ahead and connect to data here and see where we're at. Whether it fills. Let's see. Okay. All right. Just give me a second. I am messaging some people. Just a few more seconds. Okay. All right. So we've already swept these lows here. We've already swept these lows here. So I'm hands off for now. Hands off for now until I see something else. But what I do want to do is I do want to add constant encroachment again, and I want to see what price does. No, there we go. All right, let's go ahead and lock that. And as it stands, we still do have SMT, but I do believe this is the draw on liquidity going forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add here. And if we retrace my idea right now as it stands is 437542. As it stands, maybe look for a retracement and then look for second stage distribution because I'm pretty sure we already have some sort of a market maker sell model going into the open. So that's the idea right now. We'll see as I zoom in closer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and delete this. Yeah, I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to keep this dealing range open. This dealing range here. So yesterday, price did reject below, well, at extreme discount here. So in all likelihoods, we are drawing lower. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one because the dealing range right now, this dealing range got violated. So I will see if maybe price decides to continue drawing lower, and an old low acts as resistance today. Let me just add this back up as well. Actually, no, not that one. That one. This one right here. So let's change this one to previous week low. Okay, so like I said, as it stands right now, we are drawing towards the lows. With we do have a void up here, liquidity void, and again we are reversing. It seems, at least here. But again, I am looking for second stage, so that's what I'll be looking for. Let's go to the daily. Okay, so yeah, objective met, objective met. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this SMT, because if we are still bearish, then the SMT should not be a factor into my decision making. I'm going to add this back in here. Yeah, let's just leave it there. And this is the old low that I'm looking at to see if price decides to reject this area. Same thing here, previous week low. So this is the start of that same gap that we have here. Obviously here price is already trading below 50% of the gap here. This is that same gap that hasn't even been touched yet. So as it stands, like I said, this is the draw for me right now, going into the week, to see if price does decide to go into that price area. I don't see anything on the daily, nothing other than this. We are within this gap here. Price did close above constant encroachment here, but again, since the draw are the lows, I'm not going to be adding anything here. I'm just going to be watching still. Let's go to the 4 hour. So we have displacement lower. Yeah, displacement lower. Displacement lower. We don't have many gaps. I don't see any gaps here that might act as resistance going into the open. So I'm just going to go into the 60-minute. Notable gaps, I mean. And here we have relative equal highs here. Same thing here. We have relative equal gaps. Followed by an order block here. We do have some generated liquidity here, meaning that if price decides to tackle these highs will be easy to break through. We do have a gap here, but it hasn't been completely drawn because the price has yet to close. So again, I am looking for some sort of resistance here, and if it goes up to here, that's fine as well. My point is that above these areas, I will be looking for some sort of what's the word? Rejection. And so in the lower time frame, we do have a dealing range. This dealing range on the 1 hour. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to be using this dealing range to trade. It just means that I'll be using this dealing range to see where price is likely to go and if a reversal is incoming. And I don't see that happening, at least not until the lows are until more liquidity is kept. So let's go to the 15-minute. Yeah, I'm not going to add anything over here, so let's go to the 15-minute. Yeah, there is no lower time frame. There is no lower time frame dealing range on the there is no 15-minute dealing range here. We do have some gaps here that I think will get swept. will get filled, but eventually price will draw lower. So, and this just happens to be extreme discount. So just like yesterday where price rejected extreme discount, we might see the same where price rejects extreme discount. Now, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for price to sweep one of these highs, because what that means is will be I'll have enough data to set a new dealing range so I can start shorting that dealing range if there's a specific setup with displacement drawn lower. So here we do have an actual dealing range here. So this is the dealing range. And what I would like is I would like for this high to get swept with these relative equal highs. And this is a pool right here. These are all liquidity pools. And one of the rules is that when you have liquidity pools and price sweep those liquidity pools, if there is an imbalance right above it, that imbalance will most likely act as resistance or support, and price should continue on with the draw on liquidity. So this will be my second stage entry, because this was first stage if anybody was short here. And there are no news today, I think, besides, let's see if there are news. Just AT&T and IBM, so not that big of tech firms or anything. So yeah, that's the plan for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect from data, because I am not looking to trade the 9:30 open whatsoever, because again there is news at 9:45 and 10, and if price develops some sort of structure that allows me to short, then we might get a good opportunity. But yeah, that's it for now. So I'll be back at 9:45 to see if price is doing what it does. This week and last week, a lot of my trades were after the 10 o'clock macro. They were actually at the 11 o'clock macro. So hopefully we actually do get an entry today during the 10 o'clock macro, so I can have it on the stream at least. If not, then obviously I'll have it on video. But yeah, so again, I'll wait for these highs to get swept to see if price wants to continue on with the lower, uh, yeah, with the lower draw. Again, I am not looking for. I don't think I'm looking to trade NQ today. I think ES is the better of the two, because I do see better structure here. But this could just be a sweep, right? It could be just a sweep. So if we draw higher and we draw past these highs, then I won't be looking to trade. What I'll be looking for is continuation later on to tackle these highs here, because let's see here. Yeah, because this dealing range was then violated. I had this dealing range here yesterday, and it finally got violated today. So again, we might just reverse higher or lower. But again, today my draw are the lows, and the only way I would want to see price reverse is if we sweep enough lows. And to me, this is not enough. This is enough for me. We did that again. We did that yesterday, and look, we had this reversal. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. A bit more cautious today. But again, it all has to do with structure and see. And if my bias is correct, then I will see what I want to see. And that starts by seeing the first dealing range get violated on ES, and on NQ. There's nothing for me to go by just yet. But eventually, once these highs get swept, then we might see something. Yeah, these highs get swept, and we might see something afterwards. But yeah, so I'll be back at 9:45. Okay, so let's see here. So we might see a draw into this area, but if price already takes this low or already took this low off the open, then I'll be out. I won't be interested in trading anymore because yeah, I just won't be interested in trading anymore because the objective has already been met, and when the objective has already been met, most likely we'll get consolidation or some sort of ranging data unless price decides to displace lower. If price decides to displace lower, then the second target on ES will be the 5542. Let's get rid of this. The 5542 low. This one right here. So again, to me, this is the second stage consolidation, second stage distribution. So I would love for price to come back up here and then draw lower. If that's the case, then that would be an awesome play. Um, but let's see here. So yeah, I got into the 30 minute as well because we are above New York Open here. We are well, New York Open is up here. I don't think we come back to midnight open because price did distribute overnight, and when price does that, or when price distributes or displaces or expands overnight without consolidating on the higher time frames, I mean, um, it's best to avoid the morning session and come back at the 11 or the afternoon session because that's when the second stage of distribution will take place or the continuation of the original move will resume. um, so again, let's go ahead and connect the data and see if price has already swept those lows. I hope it didn't, but we'll see. So let's see. Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't like that at all. And what the hell? We once again have data missing. Let's see here. Yeah, so we displaced lower. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. So I'm just gonna keep it as is. And I really don't like the. Oh, come on. Yeah, I don't like that at all. Uh, let's jump into 1 minute to see why the hell data is missing. Oh man, this is very frustrating. So with just that, I am done trading. I'm not looking to trade anymore for the morning session at least. Now, we do have this gap here that may act as there we go. That may act as resistance. So yeah, I want to see what price does if it comes back into here because if it does come back into here, we might get a draw towards the highs. So we'll see. And if that's the case, then I may give it a chance. I'm gonna go ahead. Let's see here. Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and delete the higher time frame dealing range. I'll keep the 4 hour dealing range there as well. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so I'm not interested in trading this price action. I'll just let it go because again, the objective has already been met on the 4-hour time frame. The 4-hour dealing range has already been violated. So, excuse me. So we might get a drop back into equilibrium following this expansion, or we might consolidate. But yeah, so I'm gonna stick around to see if maybe we might get a quick 1 minute play here, but I highly doubt it. I'd have to see displacement. Let's see if maybe I can come up with any other ideas. Actually, no, that was the, oh man, that was the daily low. That wasn't the 4-hour low. The 4-hour low is actually down here. Where is it? What the hell? Yep, 4-hour dealing range is all the way down here. So I would like for price to come back up here because if that happens, then this is the dealing range here, and I would be inclined to short this area right here. I don't think price comes back up to this area. So we'll see. So let me do this. But again, this is the 1 minute. That's what I'm trading. So I'm not going to be taking any other trades in the meantime. Or any, I don't have any other ideas. Yep, there it is. That's the dealing range. So we'll see. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and close it because, oh man, I need to get that data back. I don't understand why it's doing that. Ah, there it is. All right. See, so it already did what I wanted. Um, so yeah, no entry. It happened at 9:46. So yeah, no entry. So now what I'm looking for is a reversal because it already did this and it didn't happen during the macro. That's the data I was missing. Yep. Okay. But again, it didn't happen during the macro, so I'm okay letting that go. I don't see any other desirable structures that I would like to see. So until then, just let it go. It is displacing lower. Wow. Okay. The lower price goes, the better uh, long entries will get when price does eventually decide to reverse and start drawing higher. Because again, we are still on a weekly and monthly uptrend. And so this downtrend is merely just a retracement on the higher time frames on the daily um, and the lower time frames. It's just a retracement, but obviously since we trade on the lower time frames, this is a downtrend. But I guess you can say I'm just measuring how lower we are to draw. And as it stands right now, we are drawing towards this low here. But whether we retrace and then draw lower, that is yet to be seen for me. And we do have SMT at the lows here between ES and NQ. NQ already finished the 4-hour dealing range. So that's why we're having that's why it seems like this one is unwilling to go lower. And if it does, that's fine too, because this is 50% of this whole gap on the weekly. So we might target these lows here. But since we are distributing, we have to wait until we have data, enough data for us to want to get short. This is a declining dealing range, and I don't like using these unless I'm looking to get long. So we'll see. So if let's say this reversal, I mean this low does not get swept, then the only way I would look to get long is if I see displacement and price closes above this, because if that happens, then that's market structure shift or change in the state of delivery. But again, I'm not looking to trade longs, at least not until I have enough data to tell me that price is drawing lower or higher. So I'll just let it go until then. And nothing. All right, what's happening on the hourly? So on the hourly, we did leave a gap above this area here, this high here. Between this high and this area is a gap, so that is the pool of liquidity that I might um, look to target if it even does that. But if it just continues drawing lower, then I'll look for the second stage of distribution for price to target these areas down here and this area here. So this might be the pool of liquidity that I am looking, because this is a relative equal high. So let's continue watching. And again, if I do take a trade, it'll be on the 1 minute, and I'll be targeting the 1 minute highs. So basically, just scalping today. So we'll see. Nothing on the hourly on here either. The 15-minute, we are drawing a gap. This is the gap here. So yeah, that's the 15-minute. That's the 15-minute gap. Okay, so we do have news here at the 10 o'clock macro. And I don't think there's enough time. Yeah, there's not enough time for me to well, not for me, but there's not enough time uh to see if price develops a swing high, a swing low, and all of that stuff. Because again, at the 10 o'clock, let's say we get a move like this. Uh, let's say we get a move like this. If we get a move like that, that's not enough time, unless we immediately sweep these highs with this 1 minute, and that gives me about 10 minutes to see that type of price action develop. If that doesn't happen, then I'll call it a day. Well, not a day. I'll call it until the 11 o'clock macro. And so we do have this gap here. Okay, so that is where I want to see. Um, an entry if I do decide to take it. Okay, so the 10 o'clock news just released and nothing. And we continue to draw lower. It's very unfortunate, but there is no entry for me. I'm not seeing anything. Yep. I'll just let it go. You have 8 minutes and I don't see anything. Okay, I was talking to a friend. Nothing. I don't see anything. Uh, from what I can see, we have yet to sweep any of these. Um, and because that's happening, we're basically spooling, and spooling means price keeps drawing lower or higher without offering any sort of setup. I mean, unless you're trading just mainly FVGs. If you're trading just FVGs, and that's how you'll be trading. Um, but for me, I'm not looking for anything unless if this breaks these highs, then that means the spooling has has finished, and so we might target these highs. I'm just let's see. I'm just trading. I'm just showing a friend of mine something. So just give me a second here. Let's just go ahead. Oh, I completely forgot I was still online. All right, so I was just talking to my friend. So yeah, we're spooling. Spooling is again when price just continues drawing lower or higher without offering any entries. And what a lot of people are doing right now, I bet you, is they're trying to catch the reversal. And when price is spooling, it won't give you that reversal. It'll give you the idea that it might be reversing. And that happened right here. Yep, right here. I'm sure people are long here without even expecting or assuming that price is going to draw higher, because at one point, I'm pretty sure right before this minute ended, within the last 10 seconds, it closed below here. And so now a lot of people are underwater. And so this might be a reversal. But again, we won't know until after the draw already happened. So yeah, that's it for today. I don't see anything. We're still spooling here. I don't see anything. So we might. I'm still targeting these as a possible entry, but the fact that it might not even get up here today, I'll just let it draw. And we might just do this. We might just uh, maybe after here, come up here, or if it doesn't go up here and we continue drawing lower, then we might see something like this without barely touching that low, or if it kind of does it just by a little bit, we might get something like this, and then the draw continues drawing lower. So that's what I'm looking for right now. We still have a bunch to get down here. This is the 4 hour, what's the word? The 4 hour dealing range low. And this is my objective on ES. So I do want to see some sort of retracement, and then for price to continue drawing lower. But no entry, nothing. So I'm staying away from the market, conserving my emotional capital and actual capital to eventually get a trade later on. But yeah, that's it for today, and I'll see you tomorrow.